Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, all right? Make sure you log it in and you remember to check out my good friends over at the Broken Table Podcast live on YouTube. These are some of my good friends. They have some of the best topics going on. They're talking about a lot of good things. And also, they like to put over the Prince Nana dance. Hey, I swerve and I drive. I swerve and I drive. Hey. Don't forget, tune in, log on to the Broken Tables Podcast live on YouTube, my friends.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables Podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host Rome, who has come back from his wrestling exile. How you doing, Rome? How's it feel to be back?
So, I wouldn't call it a wrestling exile. I watched AEW last week. I watched Raw last week. Raw was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It definitely it was a moment of validation for me because it was kind of like obviously I wanted to see what Punk was gonna say. So, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna bite the bullet and I'll watch it. And my therapist, Joseph Juhas, was like, just fucking watch it and like see what happens. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. I'm already miserable. So it's not like the night was gonna get any better. So watch Raw, and it was just really bad. It was really, really bad. It was
Yeah. And his promo was pretty lame on Raw as well. But I was gonna ask you, did you see his promo on SmackDown?
I did. I mean the Raw promo for starters, because again, I had a really busy week last, so I don't even want to say it was strictly Punk why I didn't do the show last week. I had work early Thursday morning and then friends from out of town Saturday. So I know how it lines up. And like, yes, I was very happy to take a break from talking about wrestling for the week because I definitely didn't want to talk about it. Yeah. But his Raw promo was empty, hollow, and soulless. It didn't sound like him. And this is coming from someone who's watched him for 20 years. So, I mean, people could say it was cool or whatever. I mean, I don't think it was. It felt very off. I saw a tweet and it said, the eyes don't lie. And you could look into his eyes, especially on that Monday promo. I think he hit it much better on Friday, and then he was on NXT tonight as well. And I watched it on Twitter. So he's definitely hiding it better now, but that first night was not... Like, you could see in his eyes he didn't want
he was just realizing, like, wow, I'm really fucking here. I can't believe I did this.
Yeah, I mean, look, it sucks, but... And Nat and I were talking about this in the Discord. Like, man, I'm a big perception guy. We know this. Like, we talk on the Gaming Pod. We talk on here on the Broken Tables podcast. I'm a big perception guy. Perception is so important. It's like, man, it's like WWE's a really hot promotion right now. And I don't say that in a place of enjoying the promotion, but I think that, as a wrestling fan, whether it be AEW or not, and this is not a ringing endorsement of the product or the company or anything like that. But I think you got to be realistic and look at it and just be like, yeah, man, I mean, they're doing really good business right now, and they are going to continue to capitalize off of any mistakes that Tony Khan and AEW make. For me, that was what I take away from the Punk signing. It's like, all right, well, so Tony dropped the ball there, and he did not handle it well, and I'm going to continue to put the blame on Tony, as I think everyone should. And Triple H is going to capitalize on that. So, WWE's better for it. So, I mean...
Well, I got a question for you here. So there may be a little bit of a consolation prize, right? So Cody still hasn't finished his story over there. And Punk's kind of talking about joining the Royal Rumble and going to WrestleMania 40 to face Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
How would you feel if CM Punk stepped in front of Cody and took this from him?
See, the problem is, and I feel like people are gonna, it's a real paradigm shift that I'm kind of over the last week making myself take, where it's like, you know what, I just think at this point, the more I try to look at pro wrestling in uh, the sense that I want to look at it in, it doesn't seem to end well for me. So I don't like Cody. Again, this is not a flipping the script. Like, you know what? Maybe Cody was just fine. No, Cody was a complete fucking loser. But I mean, it's just like, all right, it's a business. I mean, I guess Cody wanted to be the top guy in WWE, so he went to WWE. It's just what it is. So I mean, I really couldn't care less whether Cody wins the world title or loses the world title or Punk wins the world title. It's just like, all right, well, I mean,
I just think that would be great, though. Like,
no, I don't. I mean, me personally, my opinion, I don't think Punk wins the title. I think all Punk
No.
ever wanted was the validation of a WrestleMania main event. So for him, just getting there, I think is going to be enough for him.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the main event is another triple threat, which they love. They love their triple threats for WrestleMania.
They
events.
definitely do, especially for the main event. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll probably be Roman versus Cody versus Punk, where Cody probably wins. Like, the fact that they're still doing the finish the story thing at this point, it just tells you that it's like, I don't think it plans. I don't think it's.
Just an interesting thing that I thought would be kind of interesting to get your take on, see if CM Punk's stepping in front of Cody there, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, his promo on SmackDown was also still, it leaves a lot to be.
It was better. I'll definitely give him that. It was definitely better than Monday Night Raw's.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure, it was better. Like, I would say the Monday Night Raw one was like an easy, like, 1 out of 10. Like, no redeeming qualities to it whatsoever. The SmackDown promo was probably maybe like a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
But for Punk, I mean, like, obviously the expectations are always going to be higher for me. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. I think he's one of the greatest storytellers in the ring, and on the mic. So, I mean, yeah, it is what it is, and it happened. I mean, I'm gonna keep tabs on him, but so far I'm not surprised, but not pleased with his work. And I don't think anyone who, like, you can kind of tell who the real Punk fan, right? Because it's like, I don't know. I think if you're just kind of like sitting there and saying like, oh yeah, man, I'm like, I get being happy that the guy's still around. Again, he's my favorite wrestler of all time. So of course I would rather him be doing something than nothing. But at the same time, it's like, it's like, and this is actually a great metaphor. Ready? This is a good one for you. So it's like if your favorite punk rock, right? Like, they're your favorite band, you go to all the bars and you watch them play, and you know what? Like, they don't play in the biggest venues, but they're just so damn good. They're your favorite band. And they're hardcore and they're underground. It's great. And then you turn around and they sign with a major record deal and they kind of sell out, and they take the money and just kind of,
yeah.
That's what it is. So it's just like, man, I mean, I guess it's still CM Punk, but I mean, like, is it really? It doesn't feel like.
Those promos felt like they were written for him, and
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But, let's go ahead and move on to our the reason we're here tonight. This pretty good AEW Collision from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I thought this was a really good collision, but I think the crowd really, really helped this show a lot. This crowd was just on fire all night. Started off with our pre-show promos like we always do now. Again, love when they do these pre-show promos. They were all freaking awesome. And we started with Eddie Kingston versus Claudio Castagnoli. And Rome, they announced Eddie Kingston as the NJPW Strong Champion and the Ring of Honor Champion still. So I guess until he's eliminated from winning the tournament, they're still considering him the champ at the moment, right?
I guess they are. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because he relinquished the titles. He said, I relinquished these titles so that I'm giving them up so they can be on the line in the tournament.
Yeah.
Just really weird wording from them. Not
I think he said,
very well
I
worded.
thought he said, I'm throwing these into the pot for the, you know what I mean? I don't remember him relinquishing him, but he definitely could have. But Dasha definitely said, he was the champ, she called him the champ of both of them. And this was an awesome match, dude. Him and Claudio had a freaking fantastic match here. This was their rubber match, right? This was their third match.
It was either their third or their fourth.
Okay, it could be the fourth, but I remember they had one where Claudio was champ and Claudio won. And then they had another one and Eddie won. And I don't remember any other ones, but I believe this was the rubber match. And
no, Eddie lost to Claudio twice.
Did he? Okay, then this might be the number 4 then. I really loved in Claudio's pre-show promo. He's like, there's 2 things I hate in pro wrestling, and it's amateurs and Eddie Kingston. Dude, I was dying. I was laughing so hard when he said that. But yeah, this was a great match here. Dude, Claudio and Eddie, I love when these guys are having a match because you can just feel that hatred that they have. And I don't know if it's still real or not, but it really feels like you can feel it. You know what I mean? Just watching the match.
Yeah, it definitely comes across that way on television, for sure. Yeah, they hate each other, and this was a really strong opener. I mean, for me, I think tonight's Collision, for me, it was a night of ups and downs where it's like, I don't think anything was like outright bad. I just felt like there was a little bit of a up and down in terms of keeping my attention. But I thought this match was really good. They started off very strong.
Absolutely. Eddie kicks out of about 128 different pins here tonight. He hits multiple back fists, but only gets a 2 count. And man, after that second back fist and Eddie only got the 2 count, I was like, I needed that pin so bad. I was like, no. But Eddie winds up picking up the win with a roll up instead about 15, 20 seconds later. And dude, I fucking jumped up out of my chair. I was like, yes, because I don't know what it was, but I didn't think Eddie was winning this match against Claudio here tonight. Especially with the way Claudio controlled so much of the match. He was beating Eddie's ass for a while.
So there was a callback with this finish that I really liked. It was a callback to, I believe, it was the last time Claudio beat Eddie.
Oh.
Where it was the exact same finish.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a going into a powerbomb, flip into the pin. Only though reverse it, Claudio pinned Eddie that way.
All right, that's even cooler. I like that.
Yeah. So again, it was a really well told story in the ring. It was a really good match. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah. Well,
my biggest knock against the about it, and I guess about the show in general, is that I wish this was live. They taped it.
Yeah, I think that might have been what it was. Not being live. Especially like when we watch Rampage, we've always kind of knocked it for not being live. So that's probably what it was. But I still think it was a great episode. The Coogan chat says Savage Collision tonight. Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was good. Especially the bookends, man. This first match was fantastic. And then the main event, oh my God.
Yeah, definitely agree with you.
Next up, we had Moxley cutting a promo on Arush. Loved this. This was a really good promo by Jon Moxley here. Just everything this guy does is fantastic. I mean, if you're not a fan of Jon Moxley at this point, can I use the thing? Can I use the I can't help you thing?
Yeah, go for it. You could definitely use it.
Where is it? I gotta find the button. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I this Mox promo was really, I mean, it's Jon Moxley. It's Jon Moxley.
Yeah.
Excellent. Mox is talking about that, he's like, dudes have been barking at me my whole life, but they're always a lot more bark and not so much bite. I really love the line about, he says that buzz is cheap. He's like, buzz, buzz, buzz. Like, you're really hot right now, Swerve, but, anybody can get hot. You got to stay hot. And he's like, Mox is basically implying about how he's just been on the top of the industry forever. For most of his career, whether it be in AEW or the Fed or, when he was on the Indies, like he's always, been a top guy wherever he goes. And then, he talks about the match on Dynamite on Wednesday between the two of them. And he's like, it's going to be a long night. Just you pack a lunch.
Yeah. Nat says her biggest issue with the show tonight was AEW bragging about the best women's division, and then the only women's match was a throwaway no one cares about. I disagree that was a throwaway. This was Willow Nightingale's. She's been trying to beat Mercedes for like over a year now, and she finally. Well, we'll get to it, but she finally defeated Mercedes. And I think they even progressed a little bit afterwards. So we'll get to that one. It's actually coming up here just after this. Next up was Renee Paquette backstage with Hook, the FTW champion. And man, he looks good with that belt on his shoulder, I got to admit. And as he's being interviewed by Renee, Wheeler Yuta shows up to complete the interview here. And I like how Wheeler was like, you should be interviewing someone more honorable champion like me. And Hook was like, yeah, real honorable. You kick Shibata in the balls. That's great. Love this.
Yeah, it was really blunt to the point. Man, Hook and Yuta, we were talking about it in the Discord. Man, these two guys are gonna go hard. And it's gonna be for the FTW. I don't know if it's for the championship, but it's gonna be FTW rules.
Yeah, FTW rules. I don't know about the title.
It probably will be for the title if it's going by the rules. But yeah, I mean, Hook and Yuta have kind of been building this rivalry really slowly, pretty organically. And I've definitely been digging it, so very happy to see that.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next up was the ladies match, Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Martinez with Diamante ringside. Obviously, Diamante was casting distraction like she always does, and like she has been for the whole year that Willow's been trying to defeat Mercedes. A lot of their matches, I think, happened over in Ring of Honor. But this was a great match. I thought it was, a decent match. They didn't only give these ladies like 5 minutes. This was a good, what was it, about 8, 9, 10 minutes maybe?
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I'm going to have to agree with Nat to an extent.
Okay.
Do you remember February of this year when Willow Nightingale, regardless of the reason, defeated Mercedes Moné in New Japan Pro Wrestling and won the Women's Strong Championship?
Yeah.
Do you remember how on fire she was and how hot she was? Like,
yeah.
At the time, I think we said it on the pod. I was like, man, she's gonna end up winning like Women's Wrestler of the Year awards. Like, if she can keep this momentum going, and like to her credit, it's not her fault. Because even on the show tonight, she extremely over. It's almost impressive how some of these talents in AEW remain as over as they do with really the booking fumbling. And the Acclaimed come to mind too in that regard. I just think that we got to be fair and we got to say like, man, like Willow's great. It's not against Willow, but
yeah,
man, she was on fire at the beginning of this year. I feel like, she was in the Owen and that was great. And then after that, she kind of like fell off. And I know she did some stuff with kind of Julia and the Black Mist and everything, and that was pretty cool, but kind of just hasn't done anything of relevance, and like she should definitely be doing stuff of relevance. Willow is a star, and so she needs to be presented as such. And like, look, I don't want to be that guy, but I mean, I'm not much of a fan of Mercedes Martinez. I think she's fine, like not good,
I agree,
not terrible, but she's serviceable. And I just thought this match was decent. I didn't hate it, but it's just like, man, I'm just sitting here watching this, and man,
I'll agree with that, Nat, 100%. I do think we should have had another women's match here, but it is what it is.
Like, this is the kind of match I would see on Ring of Honor, and maybe that's like a slight insult to the Ring of Honor brand. I don't know. I don't intend it to be, but and like this is apparently a Ring of Honor storyline. I think so. I would have just had it on Ring of Honor. It's just sometimes Tony Khan does this where he's just like, all right, this is a Ring of Honor storyline that's going to happen on Collision. All right, well, I mean, is this a storyline that people are dying to see? Like, my follow-up question is like, okay, so if you're going to have Ring of Honor storylines bleed over into AEW, why is Athena and Billy Starks not bled over into AEW? It's just like,
because that's their main thing right now.
Yeah, I get that, but like if AEW is supposed to be your premium product, shouldn't you be trying to put on the best show possible? Like, I don't know. So I don't know. For me, this was definitely a dip in the show kind of where they started to lose my interest a little bit because I don't really, I hate saying that, but I don't really care about Mercedes Martinez or Diamante. Big Willow fan, big Chris Statlander.
Yeah. Well, Willow does pick up the win here with a big time roll up, and gets attacked afterwards by Mercedes and Diamante. And Chris Statlander comes out for the save with a big old chain wrapped around her hand. I enjoyed this. Me and Coog were having fun there in the old Discord. I thought it was decent. Like you said, Mercedes is serviceable. I thought it was fine. Love seeing Willow on TV. So
yeah, I get it.
Next up, we had Cool Hand, Angelo Parker, and Daddy Magic doing a promo backstage. This was their hometown, I believe, and this was a really good promo by these guys. And man, the way that Ruby Soho popped up off screen, she looked fantastic. I think she said something in French, but I didn't catch what it was. It was probably like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know what I mean? But I didn't catch what it was. But this was awesome. I actually really enjoyed this promo here until Saraya showed up and then like kind of went a little crazy there. But it was still fine. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying about the Saraya stuff. Like, I think the segment really kind of derailed. Not necessarily in a bad way, because I mean,
it was still entertaining.
I feel like there was just a lot of moving parts. And it was kind of like, and I guess Anna Jay is now more so with Saraya than with, I just say the JAS just because that's who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's easier to say it that way, but it's like, she used to be with the JAS. I'm like, okay, so is she now with Saraya? Because, JAS, they walk away, Hager walks away, Menard, Parker, they all leave. And Anna Jay's still hanging out with Saraya, like, which I'm not against. But I was just like, oh, this is kind of weird. Like, why would Anna Jay be sticking around with them? So I don't know. Segment was fine. I'm intrigued with the storyline that they got going on with Parker and Ruby Soho. I want to see where they get to it with it. I do think that it is kind of starting to run its course a little bit. It's kind of, I don't think there's been enough progression in like the last month. So I would like to see us do whatever's next for it. If there is a next for it, I don't know.
I agree. All right. Next up, we had a Swerve promo on Jon Moxley. This was very good. Swerve is just firing on all cylinders right now, man. This guy's one of the best rising stars in wrestling, as far as I can. That's my firm opinion on Swerve.
Yeah, I mean, he's red hot right now. You want to talk about red hot?
Yeah,
that's someone who's red hot that they have not dropped the ball with so far. So it's Swerve's killing it, man. Swerve versus Mox. We're gonna talk about the card next week, but for me, that's the match to see on.
Oh yeah, can't wait. Next up, we had Wardlow versus Willie Mack. Dude, I had a blast during this match. Actually, I'm a big fan of Willie Mack from over in Impact and all over the Indies, I guess you would say. But dude, Wardlow's drop kick, that shit is unbelievable. For a guy his size, he gets like 8-9 feet up in the air. It's wild how good this guy is at a drop kick.
So, I think Wardlow's impressive, and I think Willie Mack's impressive, which is kind of why I didn't like the match. I thought that it would have been a much better idea to showcase these two guys and let them kind of go ham. Didn't really get that. The match was pretty short, kind of a throwaway. It was, I guess it was a squash. Yeah, it was a squash. Here's something, and Nat said in the Discord, and I had saw it, and I was like, man, I think Nat and I were like on a really on a wavelength. Why? So the ref stops the match after one powerbomb, and my question
that was
is,
the third one.
Was it the third one?
Yeah.
Okay. So
there was two, then his big goofy lariat that I don't like, and then the third one.
Yeah, the one where he's like,
Yeah, I don't like that. It just looks slow, and I'm
It's
like,
very
dude, you just
silly.
look dumb. I don't like it.
It's very silly. But my
Yeah.
so my point is though, regardless of how many power bombs there were, why it becomes unbelievable for me where like a ref stops a match after a non-submission
Yeah.
because like isn't the whole point of like you're supposed to incapacitate your opponent to a point where you can pin them. So like what's the point of the pinfalls if a ref can just be like, "Oh damn, that looks like that hurts. You're done." That's kind of lame. Follow your own rules. Like I understand that refs in AEW have the ability to stop the match. I
Yeah.
get it. Not not a bad rule to have in the canon of your promotion. But like, what makes that different from? I don't know. Like, so like, why does Kenny Omega have to go for a pin after a one-winged angel? What's the point of the pinfall? You kind of devalue that, and don't devalue things because that was something that WWE
So
always did. Like they made things not matter, and if you make things not matter, then why should I care?
So what I wish
Sorry,
they
go.
would emphasize to help you out here, because this would totally help you out, is the fact that like the ref asks, "Can you continue?" And
Yeah.
people say yes, but if they don't say anything, that's when they're like, "Oh, okay, it's over." He didn't answer me at all. You know what I mean? Like he's out, KO. You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
Something like
And
that. I get
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And you're not wrong there. And there's no problem with them doing that. But they don't do that. They
Exactly. They
don't do
don't.
it.
Yeah.
They just don't do it. The ref, wow, that must have hurt. Ring the bell. I'm like, what do you mean? What if again? Because again, this is supposed to be suspending your disbelief that this is a competitive sport we're watching, right?
Mhm.
What that would be like if a football team was on the 5 yard line in the end zone, right? And they're 5 yards away from scoring a touchdown. And before they even run the play, the ref's just like, you know what? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on here?
So here,
Just
I actually
let
just kind of
Wardlow
like,
take the pin. Like,
I'm
what's
glad.
the point in not letting Wardlow just cover him? Just cover him.
Well,
1, 2, 3. All right,
I'm
cool.
glad you're bringing this up because you don't even have to do the pin. This should be a 10 count. Wardlow should lean in the
Yeah,
corner and the ref should be like 1,
yeah.
2, 3. That would make more sense. I'm totally with you now. Now that we've kind
I would
of
love.
talked this over, absolutely.
I would absolutely love that. Do the 10 count thing. I
Yeah.
love the 10
You got to
count
make
thing.
it
That's
make
great.
sense within the ring. Like,
Exactly. And
this
that's
isn't
my
an
point.
MMA match. Like if they were having an MMA match, okay, but you know,
Yeah, because again, like my point is and you get it, so you agree. I'm not trying to like
yeah.
continue to drive it home, but like so next time I watch a match and I see someone get hit like slammed with a high impact move, I'm now going to expect the referee to end the match. Why wouldn't you end the match? He got slammed on the mat and he's not moving at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so now that's you know what I mean? It's just like, man, let him pin or let him do a count or check him, lift the arm 3 times. There's so many things you can do.
That's
Just go
something
that
I
extra
miss.
mile. Just take that one extra step to ensure authenticity in your product. I don't want to see them lose that. So I hope that they kind of get back on track. You can
I'm
still have Wardlow be a badass. You can still accomplish the mission that you're trying to accomplish. You can still have the crappy squash match. If
yeah.
Tony Khan is so dead set on these goddamn squash matches, just let Wardlow put his foot on his chest. Or like you said, I liked what you said, lean back on the corner and just like let the ref count him down
Yep.
10. Like
Absolutely.
it's just like instead just stand there and be like, "Oh shit, that hurts. Ring the bell." Like what are
Yeah.
we doing? So
That
stupid.
would be a good one, Coog. I would like it a lot more if Doc Samson jumped in the ring and was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 this is over." That would make way more sense. Good. That's a good idea, Coog. I like that.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I would definitely still use the same argument though. It's like, well, I mean, I guess the doc has the right to jump in whenever he wants, but
Yeah.
I would still rather them kind of like
I would still
do a
rather the
count out.
10 count thing, but that's still a
Yeah,
good
the 10
idea.
count or a pinfall or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously Wardlow picks up the win, 3 power bombs and a goofy lariat. I hate that thing, man. But this was besides the finish, it was fine. Oh, I got the crazy hiccups here. Next up, we had the House of Black and an FTR video package promo. This was very good. Are they having a match? Like, have they announced any sort of a match yet, or is this just supposed to make us feel like who's joining who or what's going on with them?
You know, it's funny. I don't know because I'm watching this segment, right? And again, I don't mean to upset AEW fans, but I'm watching this segment, and part of me was wondering, like, man, I wonder if like how many of the guys in this program right now would love to be in the other company, like. And I don't mean it to be like facetious or trolling or anything like that, but it's like, man, it's like I do wonder, like, and that's the vibe. I wonder if these guys are just kind of together because of that. Just like, oh, we want to work together. Like the name dropping CM Punk on last Saturday, or
Yeah,
you know, there's definitely some stuff going on where it's just like, okay, it was just a random thought that crossed my mind. Is like, man, I'm sure FTR would love to be in a Vince McMahon list WWE where CM Punk is.
it's kind of funny because I think House of Black is trying to make you think that. Like, they even said, like, remember, they're like, this place isn't the brotherhood that you think it is.
Yeah, the Brotherhood's gone. Yeah, I know.
Yep.
That's maybe that's the case, or maybe it's just them riding out their contract. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think it's a stretch to say that. I think all four of them would much rather be in the other company right now.
I mean, I definitely think Buddy would. He definitely is like an odd man out over there right now. But dude, that guy is so good. I can't wait till we get him doing something. You know, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, but no, I think Malachi's in a similar situation. I mean, remember when Triple H first took over, Malachi was one of those guys who apparently asked for his release and didn't get it.
He was so good. He was so good in the NXT. I can't believe they let him go. That was insane.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like for them, Levesque's in charge over there, and
that was such an awesome night. Him showing up and fucking kicking Cody's face off. Oh, that was great.
It was really good.
All right, next up was my match of the night. Well, maybe not. I don't know. This and the main event were really, really freaking good. But we had Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada versus Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Kenny Omega versus Ethan Page. This match was amazing. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. It was just an incredible match. It was everything I hoped it was going to be. I haven't seen Ethan Page in ring for a while. You know, I haven't been watching Ring of Honor. I don't think you have either. I know he's been doing stuff over there. He's got an I Quit match coming up with Tony Nese, which that's kind of weird. But dude, this match was incredible. When Ethan Page hit that flying cutter out of nowhere off the ropes, dude, I was like, holy shit. That was one of my favorite moves I've seen in a long time. Like,
yeah, this match was really, really, really good. The crowd. So we talk about this crowd. That was a great crowd. Maybe I'm wrong, Jeff, but do you think that the crowd seemed kind of flat when Ethan Page first came out?
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted to boo him because they were like really for Kenny Omega. Like, I don't think he got a reaction at all, to be honest. There wasn't no boos or cheers. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it just seemed like indifference. At one point when Ethan was coming down the ramp, he was just like, "Guys, I'm from here, pretty much. I'm from Canada." But no, I thought that the match was great overall. I will say this though, so the post match was funny to me because, excuse me. So Kenny's walking up the ramp, or I guess if you want to talk more about the match first, we can do that.
Oh yeah, this was a great match. I mean, it's everything you would imagine it to be. V-triggers, 2 count. Ethan Page hits a really, really good iconoclasm. The DDT combo only gets a 2 count. The avalanche power slam off the top rope. I think they were just showing off Ethan Page's new strength, but that looked so incredibly dangerous. I was like, oh my God. Ethan Page essentially does a power slam like Braun Strowman's power slam thing off the top rope. It was wild. He only picks up 2 count. Kenny fights back, hits the one-winged angel, and picks up the 1, 2, 3. And still to this day, nobody has ever kicked out of that one-winged angel in AEW. So I believe
No, I'm
that's
pretty
still a
sure.
running. What's that?
I'm pretty sure Hangman.
Did Hangman?
I think so at Full Gear.
Oh man, you might be right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure he
Well,
did.
I take it back if I'm wrong, but Kenny picks up the win in a great match, and these guys both get a standing ovation from the crowd. The crowd loved this match as well as I hope you guys loved it too. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was
Just
definitely another high point in the night. Like I said, for me, the night kind of dipped up and down, highs and lows.
yeah.
And this was definitely kind of a bounce back up where it was a really good match. Again, would have loved for the show not to be taped. It would have been great if it was live, but
Coda kicked
good,
out of
great
it
match.
too. Jeez, where was I? Just that old man memory kicking in
Would have
again.
kicked out of it, not in AEW though.
I was gonna say, I mean, maybe it was at that pay-per-view where where it was the trios match. I don't know.
No, well, Kota Ibushi and him were on the same team.
Yeah, I think they were on the same team.
They haven't faced each other in AEW.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
saying
Jeff
in
was talking
AEW,
about,
Coog. I think you're right, Rome. Yeah.
yeah, Jeff was talking about AEW specifically, but I'm like 90% sure Hangman kicked out of it.
You're probably right.
Could be wrong, not 100%, but
All right, Michael, have a good night. Go Cowboys. No way.
that's
We'll see you tomorrow, Michael. All right, next up we had Lexi Nair with CJ Perry. This was a very good promo by CJ Perry. And Miro shows up and he cuts a really weird promo. I don't even know what to say about it. He was just kind of like, "You're supposed to stay home and cook and clean, and I go out and make the money." And I was just kind of like, bro. I was like, I don't even know what to say, Miro. Okay.
so like apart from the promo being like extremely misogynistic,
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting dynamic here between Miro and Perry. Obviously, Miro's in the wrong, but it's like it's definitely a cool storyline idea where it's like Miro's like he's like you're my wife. Why are you here? You should not be here. And she's like, Miro, I don't know what the hell you want me to do. You told me to stay home, cook and clean, and then you came on television and you disowned me.
Yeah.
Which he did do. That is something that happened. She's like, I don't understand what you want. And she's like, I'm gonna come here because I have my desires too. You're not the only one. And he like you said, he goes on this little tangent where he's like, when my father would hunt the boar, my mother would clean the kill and cook it. I mean, it's like it was again super misogynistic, but it's definitely an interesting storyline. So I'm curious to see where it's gonna end up. I obviously I think they're gonna hit a point where the two of them are gonna reconcile and figure it out in a storyline sense. But
Yeah.
again, I thought it was an entertaining discourse between the two of them.
Yeah. What I was thinking is maybe CJ leads Andrade to win something, some sort of title, maybe even this tournament. That'd be kind of wild. But and Miro kind of sees like, wow, she led him to be champion, and that could have been me if I wasn't a dick. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was hoping is gonna happen here. Next up, we had Julia Hart cutting a promo. She called herself, I think, the Princess of the Black Throne. I absolutely love that, if that's a nickname they're going to keep and go with. I loved it. And she cuts up really good promo about how she can see behind everybody's mask except for Abaddon. And you can hear Abaddon like a monster in the background, and she's like, the heart stops beating. I loved it. I loved everything about this whole video package.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought that it was just excellent segment. Really well made video package. It's the way I want to see Abaddon booked. It's the way I've wanted to see Abaddon booked for years. So definitely that was really enjoyable. And I also just really continue to love the House of Black. Obviously Malachi is the leader, but like Jeff, do you honestly feel like Malachi Black is the leader of the House of Black at this point?
I mean, yeah, I do.
I don't. I don't think
You feel like it's Julia now?
it feels like Julie, absolutely, and it's very smart on their part because you're planning ahead for the long term. I said it earlier in the show. I do think when Malachi Black's contract is up, I think he's going back. I think that the same goes for Buddy. I don't think that goes for Brody King, and I don't think that goes for Julia. I think Julia and Brody will stick around, and I think they will be the cornerstones of the House of Black, when that time comes. So I think it's a really good idea. Like, if you look at what's going on right now, who's in the spotlight in the House of Black? It's not Malachi, it's Julia and Brody. Brody is undefeated in the C2, if I'm not mistaken. He's first place in his division in the Blue League. And you have Julia, who's the TBS champion, and having weekly weekly television time with storyline. So that's great. It's what you want to see. And then yes, Malachi and Buddy are working with FTR, but out of the four of them, I think that Kings of the Black Throne tag team inside the House of Black, I think they're definitely doing the least significant of the work. Which I think is smart. I mean, again, just Tony's being realistic, and he knows who's probably going to leave when their contract's up, and he's not going to just let them sit at home. He's going to utilize them for television, which I respect that. I don't know if I would do the same, but I respect it. So,
yeah, that'd be fine. I mean, it is what it is at this point, but I don't know. I'd like to see where it goes. We'll see. Next up, we had Penta and Commander versus Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Angelo Parker. And dude, the crowd went fucking ballistic for this match. This crowd was one of the loudest I've heard the crowd all night, and they absolutely loved this. And Rome, did you see the spot where Penta catapulted Commander into the corner with Angelo and Daddy Magic like stacked onto each other?
I did.
That was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I've never seen that before. And even the Coog in Discord was like, I've never seen that before. And he's seen like everything. And I couldn't, when I saw that, I had to rewind it. I was able to rewind. I watched it probably 4 times. I was like, that's the coolest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, no, for sure it was. It was a really cool match, so really enjoyable.
What up, AJ? Insane finish to this match. Penta, I believe it was Penta picks up the 1, 2, 3, right?
I think so. I had to grab my dinner, so I missed the ending of the match, in all fairness. My dinner was ready.
So I just didn't write my notes very well, so I didn't write who got the pin. But Coog, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Penta picked up the win here. And this was a great match. Love seeing Lucha. The Canadian crowd for their 2 Canadian wrestlers, they were just absolutely going bananas. That Montreal crowd really enjoyed this match a lot.
Yeah, again, that Daddy Magic chant going. They were really over in their hometown. It's cool that they got the moment.
Yeah, it was that 450 spike. That's right, Coog. Thank you. Yeah, Commander walked the ropes, did a freaking crazy 450 backflip, and Penta did the small package pile driver at the same time. That shit was wild. Excellent match. Next up, we had a really good video package for Shane Taylor versus Keith Lee. This is going to be a match at the Ring of Honor Final Battle, correct?
Yes.
Yep. I liked the video package. It was pretty good.
Oh man, I thought it was I'm not watching Ring of Honor right now. That was a really good video pack. When Shane Taylor basically implied that Keith Lee would have been better off dying of his virus
a
couple years back, I was like, oh my god, that's a line right
this
there.
Is one of those Ring of Honor matches that I'm like, go ahead, give me this one on AEW TV. I'll take this one.
I joked about it in the Discord because, I'm just not in the Ring of Honor brand right now. I'm not in the ecosystem. I think that I hate the Ring of Honor club, but it's just not a service that works for me right now. So I'm just not invested in it. It's like, man, get that on AEW television. Tell these storylines on AEW television. At the end of the day, like, yes, Ring of Honor is a service that people have to pay for, so you want them to give good matches and good content there. But like, man, get something like that on the main roster, or not main roster, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just really good stuff. Get it on main TV.
For sure. All right, and next up, we had a really good video package recapping most of what's gone on in the Blue League here. And then it was time for the main event, the Blue League match of the Continental Classic Tournament, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, versus Andrade El Idolo. And according to CJ Perry, the king of Lucha. Coog, did you hear CJ Perry say this? I believe she said it twice throughout the night. The king of Lucha. I want to know your opinion on her saying that. So, what do you think of her saying that, Rome?
What, saying that he's the king of Lucha?
Yeah. I mean, whoa, lady.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a claim. I mean, but he's very talented. So, so I will say this though. Nat in the chat says Honor Club is such a bad service.
Yeah, we couldn't get it to work. It wasn't working for us.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken for me. I couldn't get it to play on my laptop, which is how I would watch it because there's no apps on any game consoles or on my TV or anything like that. So I'm not able to watch it on my TV. So my laptop is my next bet. I can't get it to work. I think that the service is really bad and it's kind of a joke of a service. Not that the product is a joke, but the service definitely is.
Yeah. Like for me, I couldn't watch live, but if I went back the next day, I could watch like the replay. You know what I mean?
That's weird. It's so weird.
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a claim by C for sure.
Yeah, Coog was like, whoa. But this was a great main event, and dude, this match was fucking brutal. Andrade, we're supposed to be led to believe that Bryan Danielson has had orbital bone surgery on his eye socket. He's wearing a really cool eye patch. I'm not sure if I mentioned that the last time, but that eye patch looks really cool the way that it's got the three connections on there. I like it a lot. But Andrade just absolutely attacks this orbital area over and over and over. During the picture-in-picture, he rips the eye patch off, and I don't know if it was a gimmicked color or if Andrade accidentally hit him, but man, Daniel's over his eye gets busted open, and he's bleeding pretty good for the rest of the match here. He's got a bloody nose by the end of the match, his eye's bleeding, and Andrade is just absolutely kicking the shit out of Danielson here tonight. And he hits him with two of those knees in the corner, and then his one-arm DDT. I for the life of me can't remember what he calls his finisher, but it looks awesome. And Andrade picks up the win. I did not see this coming. Thankfully, it wasn't spoiled for me. And Danielson sells his eye like he was for us in Philly when, you know, he sold it like when he supposedly broke the orbital bone.
So you keep saying supposedly. Do you not think he actually broke his orbital bone?
No.
Oh, see, I do think.
No way. You would not be back wrestling in, what, 2 months? How long ago was that we... No shot.
Yeah. Well, he broke it the week before Philly.
And he wrestled in Philly. No shot. No way. Like
I do believe.
I could be wrong, but I don't believe it at all. I think it's all completely a kayfabe thing.
So you mean to tell me that Bryan Danielson in his last year as a full-time wrestler decided to take 2 months off just to sell an injury?
2 months off before this tournament? Yeah.
No, it's absurd.
It's
absurd.
He was still there. You know what I mean? He had his eye patch on and stuff like that. The eye was swelling shut, Coog. Definitely was.
No, I do believe that it was a real injury. I mean, Danielson wrestled with a broken arm. So what do you mean, Jeff?
True.
Danielson is such a great wrestler. He's the greatest in-ring professional wrestler of all time. and I think that he is just so talented and so skilled that he can do a match and keep himself safe in areas that he needs to. He even said it himself. He did an interview when he was talking about working with the broken arm, and he was like, yeah, I mean, like, obviously it's not safe, but I know how to wrestle around it. So it's like, okay, well, I can't hurt that arm,
Yeah.
but they can hurt
Nat
the rest
says
of
you
my
can be
body.
back in a month. So if that's true, then all right. I
Yeah,
stand corrected, but yeah.
I totally believe it was a real injury. Now, not last night, but so this, the one thing that I knew about going into tonight was that Danielson was going to bleed from around his eye. A lot of people were worried that it was going to be an actual like a shoot injury. It's not. It was a work. It was a blade, from what I
That's what I
recall
thought.
reading.
Yeah.
And it was a planned spot, so he's fine. Everything's fine. Um,
And blades
I
do
will say
swell
this.
up. I've seen it happen a few times.
Yeah, I will say this. I thought that was Andrade's his best performance in AEW to date. He was ruthless. He looked like a killer, and again, like going at the eye, the shot of him like gouging
Yeah.
Danielson's eye, like with his thumb, was just so nasty. Um, and I love the match. I thought the match was great. It was definitely the match of the night. And Andrade picking up the win, while a surprise, was also like it's it's a testament to the strength of the AEW roster, and it's something that I got to give credit where it's due, because I'm not the only one that knocks Tony Khan for his. Do I want to use the word fear? Yeah, I'll use the word fear. His fear of booking top talent against each other because someone has to lose. I feel like a lot of times he kind of skirts around that to try to protect both guys. Um, Here he was not afraid to have Danielson take that pin, so I definitely appreciate.
Yeah. This was a great match. If you didn't see it and you have a chance to go watch it somehow, absolutely go watch this match. It was brutal. It was amazing. Once again, I mean, I feel like this was Andrade's best match in AEW. I don't think that's too far of a stretch to say that, would you?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
That this was Andrade's best match in AEW?
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I said that a
Yeah,
couple
and
minutes ago. Yeah, definitely
remember
the
when I
best
used
match.
to joke about Danielson just hands out best matches to people? He's like, "You get a best match, you get a best match, you get a best match." He's back to his old ways, man.
Yeah. So Nat brings up a good point. One that, believe it or not, I don't know if I fully agree with. So Nat says, so the story going around was that Andrade, he said in an interview that he thinks, and I don't know how you think this.
Yeah,
You would think he would know, but he thinks that his contract is coming up soon. Um, and Nat says that you don't let him beat Danielson unless he's re-signed. I don't know if that's necessarily true, especially because this is in the tournament setting. Um, Also, Danielson is extremely um, giving kind of
yeah,
wrestler,
yeah.
or he has no problem doing the job when needed, or even when not needed. He would definitely has no problem putting guys over. So I don't know if I would agree that he's definitely signed an extension, but maybe.
I would say that it's a good possibility he has. You know what I mean? But
I
you
mean,
never know,
the
because like you said, it's a tournament, so anybody can win or lose in this tournament. I think Moxley might be the only guy to go undefeated.
I mean, the bigger thing, I think the bigger like sign he signed might be Ric Flair being. Um, I think that's a more likely indicator of whether he signed or not. Um,
Yeah.
we'll see though. But
And Charlotte's injured. I don't know if you saw that. I'm not sure the extent, but she went down and
yeah,
they
I did
didn't.
not see.
Yeah, she went down on SmackDown and they didn't show the spot on the recording, so must have been real, is what I was thinking.
Maybe.
Hope she's all right. But this match was incredible. I thought we had an amazing bookend to this show. The opening match, Eddie and Claudio, was amazing. There was actually another amazing match right in the middle with Kenny and Ethan Page. And then we had the end here, Danielson and Andrade. Fantastic. We got 4 bangers tonight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not complaining. I had a great time. Um, do you have what we're going to be seeing on Wednesday or on Dynamite or Collision next week?
I do. So coming up this Wednesday on Dynamite, it's Winter is Coming. We have in the Gold League Swerve Strickland versus John Moxley.
Nice.
Um, oh damn, my camera fucked. I actually didn't get any. My camera was acting slow, and so like usually just because I don't like to miss any of the announcements, I usually just take a picture of the match cards.
Oh, I see.
And
I see.
like my camera was loading slow, so like it got like even though I clicked it on time, it like
That
got like
happens to mine. Yeah.
yeah, it was really weird. I don't know what happened there. But I do know that the Von Erichs are returning to Dallas.
That's
They
gonna
will
be
be on
cool.
Dynamite. Hangman's taking on Roddy. And then the other two matches are Gold League matches. Jay Lethal taking on who is he taking on? He's taking on someone in the Gold League, and then Mark Briscoe is taking on Jay White, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So here's my thing, right? I do actually have an opinion about this Dynamite, right? So Winter is Coming is like historically a very, very strong Dynamite.
Yeah.
Um, this is not a very strong Dynamite, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you take
I
Swerve and Mox off, it's not good at all, really.
No, it's not. I think Hangman versus Roddy is gonna be a good match.
Okay.
Um,
That
but
will.
outside of that, like, and this is my problem, right? We talked about this and we argued about this when the C2 started. But you now find yourself in a point where we are. It's not meaningless because it's a round robin tournament, but for all intents and purposes, so Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe are done. Like they cannot win the tournament,
Yep.
but you still have to have them wrestle all their matches. So now you have two guys who like it doesn't matter. Like it's like okay, well, I guess you could do the whole like they're gonna try to play spoiler thing, and it's like, or hear me out. What if instead of Mark Briscoe and Jay Lethal, we had two other guys in the tournament
Yeah.
who it would make sense for them to not lose out? Maybe that would have worked.
Yeah,
You know,
when you weren't here, when you were off in exile there, I had actually mentioned that I now agree with you, that two other guys could have absolutely done, better in this
exactly.
tournament.
They went 0-3 and got eliminated, and now
Yeah.
they're here wrestling pointless matches. And again, I say it because of how much I love AEW and how much I don't want to see them go down the road of the other promotion. Is please don't make me not care about them. Please don't do that. That is the worst thing you can do because then I just won't care and then I just won't watch. And these are two matches that going into it, like yes, the one wrestler theoretically can advance in the tournament, so they need to win. But like, I don't care about Mark Briscoe in this match. I don't care about
Yeah,
Jay Lethal
and
in this match. Like, obviously somebody was bound to be eliminated, but you have two guys who, like, I don't believe that they're winning their matches, even though they're already eliminated. Like, I don't think Jay White's losing to Mark Briscoe. Like, no shot. And if they do, then
no,
that's a bad decision.
and Nat makes a good point. 4 of these people go ahead, so it's already been decided they can't even be gatekeepers for somebody.
That's even better, or worse.
It's even worse.
That's
Yeah.
better to my
So
point. It's better to my point, but it's worse to the product. So we have two
So-
meaningless wrestling matches going on this show on Wednesday.
it's
They
for
mean
placement. It's going to be like who gets first place, second place. You know what I mean? The seeds in the tournament.
It's meaningless. It's straight up meaningless. I don't know, man. So it's just like you have Danielson doing interviews saying like, "Man, I wish Kenny Omega was in this tournament." You're like, yeah, me too, Brian.
Yeah, that's what
Me
I said.
too.
I was like, yeah, me too, Daniel.
Yeah, I think Danielson was said like, "Oh, I don't know why Kenny and Hobbs weren't in the tournament." I'm like, "Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's what I was saying."
That was probably Danielson giving Tony a little poke in the ribs right there.
I mean, again, it's just like, man, if it's Danielson's last year, right? It's Danielson's last year as a wrestler full time. So like theoretically, this is probably his last big tournament. Why did you not stack this goddamn tournament? I just Nat and I were talking about it in the Discord, right? And again, like I don't like being Mr. Negative, but I feel like it's necessary because as like it comes from a place of love where I love this promotion so much and I just want it to be successful because if it doesn't succeed, I'm done with wrestling. Like they're like all my chips are into this, right? So it's like I mean it when I say it that like I just wanted them to succeed. But like Tony Khan has made some really big errors this year, like really big ones. And like, is the booking of two guys in a tournament the biggest one this year? No, not at all. But it's just a continuing string that, like, January started with like hyping up Mercedes and not delivering, and that was where we started. And now we're here ending with this tournament where, like, man, like, you should have loaded this thing, especially if this is Danielson's last go around. Like, why is Kenny not in this tournament? Will Ospreay signed. I get he has commitments with New Japan. You mean to tell me Will Ospreay can't come in now that he's signed and do some matches? Like you could have really packed this tournament, and you just didn't do it.
Kenny and Hobbs.
Sorry, go ahead.
Kenny and Hobbs in place of those two guys, I think, would have made this a perfect tournament. Like
for sure, absolutely, completely. I keep using the meme from Rogue One where it's like, we were this close to greatness.
Yeah,
we were this close. And it's just like, man, instead, now like the Blue League has been phenomenal. I thought the Blue League was very well done, because here's the thing, right? You have Daniel Garcia, who's losing all his matches, but there's a storyline reason for it. And that's okay, because Garcia is very talented, so he's having great matches, and there's a storyline reason for him losing all this stuff. And I guess that they seem like they're kind of painting Jay Lethal to do a similar thing, where they're like, okay, well, Jay Lethal is clearly frustrated, and has he relied too much on Jeff Jarrett? And so, like, my next question is, like, what, are we getting a Jay Lethal babyface singles run? Because I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to see that? I don't want to see it.
Those two are going to go 0-4. Then they're going to have to face each other for 0-5. That's going to be what happens. And someone's going to get the win, and someone's going to be banished back to obscurity.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it's been a frustrating year for AEW, and especially to be an AEW fan, for sure. I mean, like, I think it has been. And this tournament is just another, like, and again, I don't want to shit on it completely, because we've had some really great stuff, but it's like, you should strive to be a 10 out of 10. If you're able to be a 10 out of 10, you should strive for that. You should not be like, well, we're capable of a 10 out of 10, but here's a 7.5 out of 10. Like, no, that's not good enough. You're good enough where you should be a 10 out of 10.
I would like to hear if there's any reasons why certain people weren't in the tournament. I'd like to hear, you know what I mean? Like, one day I want to hear Kenny be like, well, I wasn't in it because, or, well, this, that, but.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like Kenny is really doing anything, because they wrote Jericho off for TV. That was the funny thing, and we actually didn't mention this. But so, after the Kenny Omega match, Big Bill attacks Kenny Omega, right? And I swear to God, I'm sitting there and I'm like, why did Big Bill attack Kenny? That's random. Like, I completely forgot that these guys are number one contenders for the tag title. Completely forgot. I'm like,
well, I was like, where's Jericho to come make the save with his big cast on his arm or something? And then it was just kind of like,
yeah. We're like, where's
Jericho? Okay.
Where's Ricky? Like, what's going on? Like, we just have Big Bill attacking Kenny Omega after a random singles match.
And that's where I'm at now. It's good, but it could have been great. I agree with that. Like, I don't want to shit on the tournament, because it's still good. I'm having fun, but I feel like maybe a couple of matches were stolen from us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, they left something on the table would be a good way to put it.
Yeah, and Coog, I'm excited Riho's back too. I appreciate the enthusiasm. But there's definitely there's definitely room for improvement. It's definitely, I would not say a 10 out of 10. But again, it is very exciting for Riho to be back. Nat says Hobbs isn't even having any matches. He's just doing promos where he's saying he's big, he's black, and he's jacked.
I love those promos, by the way.
Why isn't Kyle Fletcher in the tournament? You could have that built in. Again, like, you could have like other storylines where, like, it makes sense and it matters. But again, we didn't do that. We put Mark Briscoe in there, and we put Jay Lethal in there, and now both Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe are just doing the exact same storyline. Where it's like, oh, yeah, I'm mad. I'm mad that I'm 0-3, and I'm like, really? You shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised that you're 0-3 in this tournament when you're facing guys who actually should be winning matches.
Man, I'm right there with you, Nat. I feel like we're like right there, 7.5 out of 10 right now. Absolutely, that's right where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree.
It could, sure. Kenny could have made it a 9. Kenny and Will Hobbs to get together in there. It could that could have pushed it up to being a 10 out of 10. But it is what it is at the moment, so we'll have to deal. I'm still having fun though. You know what I mean? I don't want to harp on it too bad.
I get it.
All right, man. I think that's gonna do it for us. You want to go ahead and close us out here?
Absolutely. Well, I think it's 149. Are we at 149? 190. That's what I
190,
meant.
yeah.
I don't know why I said. I don't know why my brain thought 149. This has been episode 190 Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you to Coog and Nat and Duke, and I think War Machine was here earlier. 'Cause War Machine was live there the other night.
Yeah.
But thank you to everyone hanging out with us. Everyone else that was here too. I think AJ was here for a little bit, so appreciate you guys hanging out. Make sure you like and subscribe on your way out. Become a member. It helps the channel, helps us grow. If you like pro wrestling, you're in the right place. We talk about AEW. We do our Dynamite and Collision reviews. If you like video games, we have moved the game room to a separate channel just to better help organize the content on both channels. So, if you like video games, you want to keep supporting us, you can go and subscribe there. I don't know if Jeff, did you put it in the description yet?
It's not in the description, but it is in the Discord. I'll put it in the description for next time.
Gotcha. So yeah, if you like video games, we're still doing the Game Room podcast. We moved it. We had a really nice first episode the other day. We went over the GTA 6 trailer and just how incredible that game looks. On Monday, we're going to be talking about the Game Awards, giving our thoughts on that. Definitely, we have stuff to talk about, so it'll be a fun show. But we will be back on Wednesday with our Dynamite review next week. Yeah, make sure you follow us on social media, and that's pretty much it. Join the Discord, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bro, I gotta mention real fast. So I was watching Dr. Disrespect watch the Game Awards. Like I was watching it through his stream, like he was watching it. And when they announced who the streamer of the year was, I'm sure you saw, right? So he was the former streamer of the year. And dude, he just looks at the screen like, are you fucking serious? And he turns over and he grabs his award and he just looks at it. And then he like looks back at the screen and then looks back at his award and then looks back at the screen. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I was dying, dude. I was crying.
Yeah, it's like the streamer thing is so like I don't want to say it makes me feel out of touch, but it really makes me feel out of touch when I watch every year. It's been like 5 years since I've known any of the streamers.
Oh yeah, like that VTuber that won, that's like a group of people that come together. It's like a production, you know what I mean? It's not like there's some girl sitting in a chair that wanted to become a streamer. It's like a whole production team. I was like, oh, that's lame.
See, the thing for me with the Game Awards, and I'm gonna go into a full thing about it on Monday, so I won't go too in depth here. But specifically with like this category, like I think it's kind of a BS category where it's like, yes, these people that are nominated have a lot of followers, but like there are so many other channels and so many other streamers who are just so much bigger and doing more work and being more successful that like I don't know if like streamer of the year, it used to be content creator of the year. Like I just don't know if like to me it's a nonsensical thing because it's like I look at like just an example throwing out there like, and you could use Dr. Disrespect for one. Like how many viewers does Dr. Disrespect have? Like you think per stream?
On a what?
Like per stream? Like what?
He
like
gets
around
between 20 and 30,000 per stream, like live.
Right, and that's not a common thing for streamers, correct?
No, definitely not.
Okay, like Dr. Disrespect, even though I haven't watched the guy in years, that's a guy that should be in the running. I think about Kinda Funny and the content they do there. Like there's so many great content creators who are like, look, like I get it if you want to kind of spotlight lesser known ones.
Dr. Lupo raised over $1 million for St. Jude this year, doing a bunch of different donation streams. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I thought he deserved it.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that you like the content creator of the year is like you should be really like it should be the top dogs. And like I get it, like if you want to have a category for like best like upcoming or best breakout, then do that. But like to say that the best content creator is someone that like look, like I'm not like super into the streaming scene, but like I feel like I know enough about content creation. I spend a lot of time on YouTube and on the internet where it's like, if you're really big, even if I don't watch your stuff, I should at least know who you are. And I just don't. I never know any of these people.
Yeah, I didn't
Like,
know any of the nominees actually.
That's what I'm
Except for
saying. Like,
that
and you
VTuber.
watch more streams than I do, and you didn't know any of them.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I did know the VTuber though.
I guess that's
YouTube
something,
like
man. I guess
force
you
feeds
won,
me
you know?
videos, and I'm like, I'm not watching this.
But yeah, so I mean, we'll talk more about that on
Yeah.
Monday. A lot to talk about with the Game Awards, good and bad. So make sure you tune in. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us here tonight. Top Guys out.